The hibiscus are really blooming today, so that's nice. They were blooming yesterday pretty good too.
You set a record for them.
Yeah.
I thought I did well at my place.
That's James's dinner, and that's a vegan cheese, and I'll talk about that. He's going to have the artichoke and asiago dip on his salad, and there's jasmine tea in there. I'm going to review Rockford Files Season 2 got top of the stack over 5 and 4, and Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead, and then the bottom Twister. And God is not great.
It's really, God is not great.
I guess it is, yeah.
Yeah.
So James is going to review that one. And it might take me a while to
Wake up.
Well, I had a headache, so it's still there, you know. I still feel it, but it's not too bad. And honestly, I think I had pomegranate in my salad this morning. I think that actually helped. Pomegranates are fruit and amazing.
I think you found generally with headaches that veggies help, perhaps salads help.
Well, I had a salad, that's it. I was going to have a salad with this beautiful lettuce, which it's fantastic. But I thought, well, I think it'd be even healthier if I ate some red cabbage and cauliflower and pomegranates. So I was going to have the pomegranates anyway, because when we went to Superstore, they were only 99 cents each, which I don't know why. I mean, on the outside they looked a bit dry or whatever, but inside you can see they're perfect. They're beautiful.
Too bad we couldn't have gone back for more, but our car clumped out.
Yeah, so we had to
Because
go
we were trying to drive off
to the mechanic. Well, I could have got more, but I got so much food. I was wondering.
That was stunning. When the car clunked out, we didn't get towed back. Well, we had to work really hard letting the stuff that she did get in.
Yeah. So
it actually worked out that didn't get any more.
Yeah, it probably did.
I would have helped out, but I got 5 fractured vertebrae and I've been told no lifting. I do some lifting, but
because I mean they had 10-pound bags of carrots for $2.99 for a 10-pound bag. So 29 cents a pound for carrots. That's so cheap. You can't even get potatoes for that.
Better than dirt cheap. So, like I was saying, it might be hard to get not treated soil, sifted soil or sift soil or whatever.
So anyway, I was very happy with what we got. And the carrots didn't look great on the outside. I'm going to peel them anyway, and I did, and they were fine.
They tasted great.
Yeah, so anyway, but James is having the rest of my jasmine green tea, because
green tea
that
supposed to be
might
good for
have
cancer.
set the headache going.
Now, was all the tea you were drinking the green tea, or did you get other tea?
Well, I got other types that are not caffeinated, and that's the thing, is green tea. Jasmine green tea is caffeinated. And that was the best green tea I've ever had. But that could be just because I'm not used to drinking it anymore, right? And so it's like, oh, this is so good, but not good for me. I can't.
I think you have some.
It triggers a headache, and I had soup. Onions. I made a wonderful soup. It's delicious. I was thinking, okay, should I put some? And I just, oftentimes I just make up a recipe as I go, and so I had kidney beans, cauliflower, carrots. Garlic. What else did I put in there? Thyme.
You put a lot of thyme into it. I'm just kidding.
Thyme, the seasoning, and a bay leaf. I can't remember what all I put in there, but
it sure tasted tasty.
It tasted good.
The dogs were sniffing it and begging it.
They were. They wanted
pulling
it.
all sorts of tricks spontaneously.
But they don't like this dog food I got. It's I'm small dog breed or whatever, and they're like, this is not good stuff. So anyway, I tried some of that vegan Laughing Cow cheese. It's made out of almonds, and
Did you like it? Okay.
It's okay,
I like it pretty good.
but it's not really. It doesn't taste like cheese. It tastes well, maybe a little like sour cream, or sorry,
bit more like
cream
that.
cheese kind of.
It's
Cheese.
kind of like soft cheese.
It's hard to get it out of the wrapper.
Entire, yeah.
Yeah, but
A
so
little
you
bit
end up
thick.
licking off the packaging a bit.
I gotta
And-
admit, I did the same thing too.
Yeah, but honestly, I like these little laughing cow cheese. If you're gonna have if you're gonna serve a dish, and to just put a couple like on the
On the edge.
edge, and then people can mess with it themselves because it's a nice little serving size anyway.
Oh, yeah. And
So-
plus, they can see.
And it's a
little
cute
cow
little
is
cow.
laughing
Yeah,
cow
it's so
insignia.
sweet. So it's like a little gift.
Yeah.
But I mean, having so much packaging like that, it makes me feel
Yeah.
like such a waster, right? But I got this for very cheap.
It's not
And-
so we buy it every first
Well,
time.
we just started getting it recently because it's been on sale for very, very cheap. Like anyway, I better read my poem because I don't know how much steam I'm gonna have to keep going. So, this is a Pactyloepitrite, ancient, I don't know if I pronounced that right, ancient Greek compound meter poem
Yeah.
that I wrote. And honestly, when I don't know if all the, like, this is a secondary rhythm assignment that James
Yeah.
gave me.
Dumb stuff.
And a lot of the time, like, I made sure that the strongest accents stayed the strongest, and the weakest accents stayed the weakest. But there's the medium strong ones in the middle that I kind of gave myself some leeway on. So I don't know that I really punched this properly. And plus, there's one point at the end where there's supposed to be a full stop. In this one, there's full stops that have to be obeyed. And so that's another thing that makes this a little more complicated.
Yeah.
The full stop doesn't need to be a period, but it has to be a stop in, like, it could even be as little as an apostrophe maybe, but probably not. Probably a semicolon or something like that, right?
Well, as far as I'm concerned, it could be just like units of meaning. Like, the store was full. No, I went to the store over on the corner, so you could actually have it after store because
Well,
it kind of grouped together.
and I really cheated on that last line a bit. So you might let it go. I mean, he's the one who assigned it back in 2020, so it's really his call if I followed it or not. Because a lot of the time I'd write something and James would be like, nope, do it again, or whatever. But we'll see.
The ultimate aim was to get it so Pauline would come up with her own form.
Yeah, eventually.
When I was doing complicated forms like this, I wasn't as rigorous as I've been with Pauline, usually. Because what I'd say is, okay, I'm just going to come up with a different form that kind of conforms to the
Yeah,
meaning
and
of stuff,
sometimes
I
he'd
wanted
let
to
me get
to
away
that
with
point.
that too. Sometimes he'd say, okay, well, since you didn't get this secondary accent here, can we switch this other one so it's still from stanza to stanza it follows. So sometimes he did let me do that.
So I wanted to get her so she could write songs. Because the great songwriters technically are good at that. An example is Hal David is writing with lyric writers, I should say. Hal David is writing with Burt Bacharach. He had the advantage. Burt Bacharach apparently would come up with the tune, and then he'd have the tune in his head or something like that. He probably could have had a recording, And it's easier to write that way for some reason other than to
Well,
put
it's
a pattern,
easier to
a
write,
rhythm.
like if you already have a song in your head,
Mm-hmm.
to fill that song, the melody, with words. And that's what I used to do, and that's what I prefer doing, but this gives me flexibility. So, because a lot of the time when I'd get a melody in my head, I'd only have the first little bit to stick words in. And then I'm like, okay, well, how do I stretch this out so that my next stanza actually, is poetry too, or whatever, right? So this helps. So here it is. This one is selling words on the street, because we went to Word on the Street yesterday. Even we went late because, well, we didn't really care because it's
I'm not a big
not
fan
really
of
great
some of the
anyway,
stuff that
but
goes on. They're trying.
well, whatever. I mean, it's good for. I do like the author reading tents that they have and stuff like that, even though I don't attend them. But I may one day. And
That's a good idea.
it would be like if we publish at some point, then we might end up setting up there to do poetry in the park. Just give people a little taste of that. Teach them how to write. Teach them how to fill a certain form or whatever. Something easy. And that might work out for us. And it's good for our authors to have some sort of a venue where the public comes.
A venue to vent, but
Yeah.
where the public comes along. And, a fair amount of people turn up. And some of them are very nice. I spent all the time just renewing
James really
acquaintances
likes
with
them.
people that I hadn't seen since before COVID, like 5 or 6 years. So.
Yeah. And they enjoyed seeing you too. Like
Oh.
one woman was saying, she was saying that she was really glad to see James and stuff. I was there at that point, and I said, yeah, I know, especially, since COVID, you don't see somebody for a while and you're wondering, right?
Especially me, because
And yeah.
I've been,
But
I was terminal at one point.
he was wearing a mask and
they
gloves
recognized
and
me.
everything. He took care while he was there.
Yeah.
But he's very social, so it's very stressful for the first while. I was very frustrated because I'm like, how can I keep him safe when he's so social?
Well, the wind was
But-
kind of blowing a little bit, and
Anyway,
it was all outdoors. Anyway, there was some people, like two of the people from the university bookstore I've known since before they ever got to the university bookstore. One was from the one bookstore by the Penny Coffee House.
oh,
And that goes
yeah,
back to about, probably 2000. And one definitely to around 2000. She used to work at the bookstore or the book section at Saigon Foods. They used to have a big book section there. She was very competent and all that sort of stuff, so she used to order books from me. So I had a good time renewing acquaintances. And then I saw a guy, he's Cree. I studied Cree with him maybe 6 years ago or something like that. And he's the only guy, with one other exception, he was in the Cree course too. But those are the only two guys who haven't messed me around on group projects. We did smoke and hot group projects.
he was a very nice guy.
Dylan, he was picked as a shining student.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
I don't know what that means, but that's
Well,
nice.
just every so
It
occasion
sounds
I'll have a
good.
huge picture in the halls at the university.
Oh yes,
of,
okay, I've
wonderful
seen
people.
that. Yeah,
And big, I presume, got to be good students too.
yeah.
And I believe he's going for his MA now.
Well, good for him.
And that's awesome.
Yeah.
So, and that was, I don't think he recognized me at first. But at any rate, he did, and we reminisced and stuff like that. So it was, I had a very good time. I don't think I caught anything, but a lot of
Yeah.
good vibrations.
Yeah, I don't think I caught anything. It's just like I think it's just that I had soup and tea, and I can't have those. Because the soup, it sounds fine, but I put better than bouillon, and it has onion in the broth.
Yeah, well, you
And
did put onions in too, did you not?
I did not.
Oh, you did?
Because I was
just
thinking,
yeah.
well, maybe I can get away with it just because it's in the broth. But I guess because I had the tea too, I don't even know if I want to try it again with just having the broth. It's just not worth it. These headaches are not
I think
fun.
it was the tea now, if it was just in the bouillon.
Anyway, so here's selling words on the street. James went to word on the street. I went too. It was too busy for me, busy with strangers to greet. Endlessly. James found some people he knew, quite a few. While James was talking, I walked, lapping him. Vendors in tents gave out treats. Sweet trading, traded for words on the street. I earned a bag full of treats. James did not. James was there talking for hours, sharing his words there for free, endlessly. James really loved sharing words, quite a lot. I kept most words to myself, listening. That's a commodity, see? Word sellers, pay for a listener like me. I hope you like that one.
That's quite good. It's like you're talking to me or to whomever.
Yeah, but the last break in the line was after word sellers. I don't know if I really got away with that. I made myself pause there, but it's...
that's okay. All you do is put some punctuation in there.
Yeah.
And we just got to follow you.
Yeah. So I put of the Rockford Files seasons that I was watching. You see, I should explain. The raccoons have been on the deck every night for a while now.
Pauline doesn't like that,
And-
but there are a couple of people that don't like it even more than you, right?
Chihuahuas.
Yeah.
So it would be fine if the raccoons were on the deck. They make some noise, but they don't seem to really do anything. This time they've left the plants alone. I guess they seem to
They were
figure out where
chowing
they
down
want to
a
go.
while
And
back, weren't they?
no.
Just
Well, I
messing
thought
around.
they ate some lettuce leaves, perhaps, but I don't. They obviously didn't like it if they did, because they've left it. But they were digging through some plant pots looking for stuff, because I think they really like rooting around. Like we see the bears this time of year
They're
rooting around, and I think the raccoons do too, because they do seem sort of like little bears. They seem more like red pandas, the bears at the zoo out of the bears that I knew at the zoo, but which I don't think are really bears, but sort of remind one of or whatever. Sort of like a cross between a bear and a cat or something. I don't know. They see, or a monkey maybe. I'm not sure. They're strange little animals.
So who knows what's related to? Sorry.
I have no idea. You'd have to look into
This
that.
guy says the research indicates, and this book was published 2011, that cows are more closely related to whales than to horses. Now, I've noticed there's some mistakes in here, so I'm not going to take that as gospel truth, shall we say.
Yeah. So anyway, once the raccoons are on the deck, they don't seem to be too interested in leaving the deck, and they seem to still want to play out here, no matter whether the dogs come out to try to scare them off or not. They just, the dogs come out, blah, 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 and they don't want to come back in because they know they're still here somewhere, right? And then they come back in, and I can hear ruffling around over there again.
They might
And
enjoy
the
having the dogs come out.
They might.
Yeah.
I don't know. They might think it's funny. But anyway, not for me. So I'm watching a lot of TV and sleeping a lot less, but it's not that I have insomnia or anything. It's that I have raccoons at night. And so the Rockford Files, season 2.
I'm through a lot of them.
This was decent. I think so far the best season was the first one, but the actors, the quality of actors did improve over the years. Like you could see that by season 4, they had a lot of talent that people were showing up to be one of the guests on this show for the day or whatever. There was Donald Sutherland was in an
He's
episode.
a pretty good actor. They don't like his
And-
politics that much, but what the heck.
And well, I can't remember. But honestly, I can't remember which seasons had what things. I think season 2, at one point, I think it was season 2, there was a story with African American woman who ended up dead, and some people were thinking that it was this guy that killed her or something, and there we go.
Is that a bug or
No,
just
no,
a
it's
leaf?
just a leaf that didn't look great, so why
Probably
eat
a
it?
lilac leaf, yeah.
Somebody else will. Maybe
Yeah.
the raccoons
Maybe the
might.
raccoon.
Anyway, that one was an interesting episode. I don't think anybody would do an episode like that now, because, I mean, the woman was dating this African American man who he kept wanting to marry her. He'd keep asking her to marry him, and she'd say no, and then he'd beat her up. And so he was saying she should have just said yes, because I would have made a good husband to her and stuff and whatever. And it's like, okay, you were beating her up because you got the answer you didn't like. But like Rockford was saying at the end, well, she kept coming back. So, and I don't know if that in itself would make it into a show nowadays, saying, well, she kept coming back, so.
Well, I think some women are, with guys being so stalkerish,
Yeah.
they go back because they're afraid of the guy stalking them wherever they go. They go
Yeah.
across the country and that guy could come out.
And that could be too. So at the end of the story, I'm going to give a spoiler alert here. She had a child. She ended up bringing the child home to her parents, and her parents were raising the child, and then she went back to her guy. So she was gone for a few months because, she would have been showing, and then so he didn't know. She kept the fact that she was pregnant from him and that she had a child. And then when she was pregnant again, the next time, her parents said, we're not going to do this again for you. And but it could be like James was saying, maybe she did care for the kids. It's just she cared enough to know, well, they can't be around him, or he can't be around them, whatever.
I think generally when guys are beaters and women beat up kids, that was the case apparently with Joseph Stalin.
So, anyway, interesting story, but not one you'd probably hear on a TV episode made today or whatever. So, I think it was, I can't remember, I think it was in season 4 actually at the end, like they put some bonus features at the end of the last disc of the season 4. And one of them was a bonus episode that was in this season, so white on white and nearly perfect. And that one, you get to see Tom Selleck in the show. And so that's interesting. Another thing that they had, bonus thing at the end of the show, was who's the best TV detective sort of thing, and they've rated them. And honestly, I really like, I've got into this Rockford Files kick, and I really like the way they've set him up. I mean, later on in the series, he's more of a heartthrob, you know, he's becoming more of a famous detective, right? And although he's still not making a lot of money, a lot of the time he's getting stiffed for payments all over the place, and
Still living in the trailer.
he's still living in the trailer, and so he'll solve these big cases, but a lot of the time he's not getting paid. So anyway, I like the fact that he's always getting beat up. I liked watching the little show that at the end of this, because where they were rating the detectives, because they said a lot of the same sort of things that anybody would say, really, watching these detectives, about how the detectives are set up, about the characters themselves. And honestly, I think I do like Columbo more than Rockford. Still,
Oh,
I
it's
just
an awesome
really
formula.
like that formula, yeah. But
This
anyway,
bumbling incompetent ends up catching these people who are taking him for granted.
yeah, it's great because it makes. I mean, these shows, a lot of the time, it's amiable personality types that are watching these things, and so you can relate with Columbo, right?
Yep.
You're like, he's just an average kind of guy, but yet he's an awesome detective, right? And so
You're always waiting
You're-
for the moment
yeah,
when he goes, "There's just," you know, he's
Yeah,
walking around.
exactly.
There's just one thing.
yeah, exactly. And you know that, I mean, he's figured this out
Yeah.
well before, and it makes you feel good that
Oh, yeah.
he's caught these guys that thought they were so smart, you know.
Oh, yeah. And they're all over the place. They're not just criminals. They'll be management people
Sure,
or whatever.
right? And he
Taking
has
people
a
for
great
granted.
little basset hound as a pet.
I'd
So,
forgotten about
yeah,
that.
I mean, you gotta love him.
Yeah.
He's great. He drives this beater of a car
Yeah.
around, whereas Rockford, like you said, it's a hot car.
Relatively
And you can
hot
see,
car, although
I mean,
it's
maybe
brown.
yeah, it's a tan Firebird, I think it was,
Yeah.
right? So anyway, it's a hot-looking car, and maybe that's where all his money is going, to keep that car going. Because I mean, some people get very attached to their cars, and so he has the same car throughout. And sometimes you'll see it's like all full of holes. It's been shot up, or like one time he was having to get a new transmission or something like that. Like, this major stuff he's having to do to keep this car going. So that might explain why he's still in the trailer too. Boy, I didn't do a good job picking through your lettuce, did I?
That's plenty fun.
You're gonna have to do it yourself.
No, I'm just eating the stuff down.
Here I am reaching into his food.
The
That's not great, eh?
Asiago makes up for a multitude of whatevers.
But I think my eyesight's still a little bit better than his without his glasses when things are close. So I don't want him eating things if I can see it doesn't look that great or whatever. Anyway,
It's tasting fine. That's all that matters.
okay. So, yeah. What I love about Rockford, the most of all, is the beginning of every episode, the phone rings. Like, you see this scene, they showed, I think it was in the end of this season, the bonus feature, they showed